Did you know that Genghis Khan, the ruler who created the largest land empire in history, was born with a blood clot in his hand, a sign that he was destined to be a great leader? His birth, in the harsh and unforgiving land of Mongolia, was marked by unusual circumstances. The blood clot, a prophetic symbol, seemed to foretell a future of immense power. His early years, however, were far from royal. Genghis Khan, originally named Temujin, experienced a childhood steeped in struggle and survival. His father, a tribal leader, was poisoned when Temujin was just 9 years old. Suddenly, the family was abandoned by their tribe, left to fend for themselves in Mongolia's harsh environment. These trials and tribulations, though challenging, were instrumental in shaping the young Temujin. The harsh conditions of his upbringing carved out a resilient and strategic leader, one who learned early on the importance of loyalty, perseverance, and strategic alliances. From these humble beginnings, a leader was born who would shape the course of history. Genghis Khan didn't just stumble upon greatness. He faced numerous trials on his path to becoming a legendary ruler. Born into a world of nomadic tribes and ceaseless conflict, Genghis Khan, originally named Temujin, was thrust into hardship at a young age. When he was merely 9, his father Yasuke was poisoned by a rival tribe. The loss of his father was a pivotal moment in his life, a cruel initiation into a world where strength and cunning were the only currencies that mattered. Following this tragedy, life didn't get any easier for young Temujin and his family. Abandoned by their tribe, they faced a life of extreme hardship in the harsh Mongolian steppes. They were left to fend for themselves, struggling to survive in an environment that was as ruthless as the people who inhabited it. Foraging for roots, hunting rodents, and wearing clothing made from field mice and marmots, they eked out a meager existence. But perhaps the greatest trial in Genghis Khan's early life was his time in slavery. Captured by a rival clan, he was kept in a kang, a heavy wooden collar used for punishment and public humiliation. But even in these dire circumstances, his spirit remained unbroken. Rather than succumbing to despair, he used this time to learn about his enemies, their strengths and weaknesses, their customs and tactics. Through these trials, Genghis Khan was forged into a leader of extraordinary resilience and strategic acumen. His experiences taught him the harsh realities of power and survival, lessons that would serve him well in his rise to power. They shaped his character, his worldview, and ultimately his destiny. His early life was a crucible of hardship and adversity, but it was in this crucible that he was molded into the man he would become, a man who would one day rule the largest contiguous empire in history. These trials hardened Genghis Khan, preparing him for the battles to come. Genghis Khan's rise to power wasn't a walk in the park, it was a calculated and strategic journey. Our tale of ascension starts with a man named Temujin, who would later be known as Genghis Khan, a name that means universal ruler. But before he could become a ruler of anything, Temujin had to overcome the turbulent tribal politics of his time. The Mongol tribes were fragmented, often at odds with each other, and leadership was based on lineage, not merit. This was the status quo that Temujin set out to change. Temujin began by forging alliances, often through marriage. His first wife, Borte, brought him an alliance with the Conqueror tribe, but it was his relationship with Jamuka, a childhood friend, that would prove pivotal. They were blood brothers, a bond considered stronger than birth ties, but as their influence grew, so did their rivalry. The tipping point came when Jamuka was elected as Gur Khan, the universal ruler, by a coalition of tribes. This was a title Temujin believed was his by right. This rivalry led to a civil war among the Mongols, one that Temujin would ultimately win. He did so not just with superior strategy and tactics, but also with a new form of leadership. Temujin broke from tradition and established a merit-based system of leadership. He rewarded loyalty and skill over blood ties. This was revolutionary at the time, and it proved to be a winning strategy. His followers, motivated by the possibility of advancement, fought with a fervor that was unmatched. By the year 1206, Temujin had united the Mongol tribes under his rule. He was elected as Genghis Khan, the universal ruler. His rise to power was a testament to his vision, his strategic acumen, and his ability to inspire loyalty among his followers. Genghis Khan's rise to power set a new precedent in leadership, one based on merit rather than birthright. His story is a testament to the power of strategic thinking, resilience, and the strength of a leader who dared to break from tradition. Once in power, Genghis Khan established what would become the largest contiguous land empire in history. Now, let's take a closer look at the Mongol Empire under his rule. Not one to rest on his laurels, Genghis Khan understood that to maintain his dominion he needed to expand. His sights set far and wide, from the vast steppes of Central Asia to the fertile plains of Europe and the mighty walls of China. Genghis Khan's military strategies were a marvel of their time. He revolutionized warfare with his use of psychological tactics, superior horse archery, and the infamous Mongol military discipline. His armies moved with a speed and efficiency that left his adversaries scrambling. The Mongols weren't just conquerors, they were also masters of adaptation, absorbing the best practices and technologies from the cultures they overran. But an empire is not built on conquest alone. Genghis Khan knew the importance of a strong administrative organization. He divided his empire into different territories, each governed by a trusted commander. This system ensured loyalty and allowed for effective governance over vast distances. Genghis Khan also introduced a code of laws known as the Yasa. This legal code covered everything from civil laws to military regulations, promoting order and discipline across the empire. He even implemented a postal system, the Yam, which facilitated communication and intelligence gathering across the vast stretches of his realm. The Mongol Empire under Genghis Khan was more than just a military powerhouse. It was a complex, highly organized society with sophisticated systems of governance, communication, and law. It was an empire that valued merit over birthright, where a common herdsman could rise to become a commander if he proved his worth. Genghis Khan's rule was marked by a keen understanding of strategy, both on the battlefield and in the halls of governance. His vision and leadership transformed a group of nomadic tribes into a world power that would shape the course of history. Under Genghis Khan's rule, the Mongol Empire became a force to be reckoned with. His legacy is not just one of conquest, but of a society that valued merit, discipline, and innovation. It was an empire that, in many ways, was ahead of its time. Genghis Khan's impact on history extends far beyond his death. The Mongol Empire didn't crumble with the passing of Genghis Khan. Instead, it continued to thrive under the rule of his descendants. His sons and grandsons carried on his legacy, expanding the empire even further. They conquered lands that Genghis never set foot on, including Russia, Eastern Europe, and the Middle East. This expansion resulted in the largest contiguous land empire the world has ever seen, stretching from the Pacific Ocean to the gates of Vienna. But the legacy of Genghis Khan isn't just about territorial conquests. His rule brought about significant cultural and economic changes too. The Silk Road, a network of trade routes connecting East and West, flourished under Mongol rule. This facilitated a cultural exchange of unprecedented scale, leading to the diffusion of ideas, technologies, and goods across the Eurasian continent. Moreover, Genghis Khan's administrative policies, such as the establishment of a postal system and a universal law code, left a lasting impact on the regions he conquered. These policies promoted communication and order in his vast empire, fostering a sense of unity among diverse cultures. Genghis Khan's legacy also stretches into the genetic pool of the modern world. A genetic study conducted in the early 21st century revealed that about 1 in every 200 men alive today is a direct descendant of Genghis Khan. This fascinating genetic footprint is a testament to the wide-reaching influence of his lineage. Despite his reputation as a ruthless conqueror, Genghis Khan was also a visionary who understood the importance of cultural exchange, efficient administration, and the rule of law. His empire, which at its peak covered nearly a quarter of the Earth's landmass, became a melting pot of cultures and a hub of global trade. Genghis Khan's legacy is as vast as the empire he created. Indeed, the echoes of his influence can still be felt today, centuries after his death. His life and rule continue to captivate us, serving as a powerful reminder of the indelible mark one individual can leave on history. Genghis Khan's life and reign are shrouded in both fact and fiction. Let's start with one of the most pervasive myths about Genghis Khan, his reputation for unparalleled brutality. While it's true that his conquests resulted in the loss of many lives, the portrayal of him as a bloodthirsty barbarian is not entirely accurate. In fact, Genghis Khan put great emphasis on laws, or yasa as they were known. He established a code of conduct for his empire that included laws against theft, dishonesty, and the killing of civilians during wartime. His rule was marked by a level of order and discipline that was, in many ways, ahead of its time. Another myth that has gained traction over the years is the claim that Genghis Khan fathered countless children, leading to millions of descendants today. This idea became popular following a genetic study in the early 21st century, which found a particular Y chromosome spread widely across Asia, leading to the conclusion that it originated from Genghis Khan. However, while it's possible that he has many descendants, the idea that he personally fathered millions of children is an exaggeration. The Y chromosome in question could have originated from a common ancestor and not necessarily from Genghis Khan himself. The image of Genghis Khan as a savage is also misleading. He was a keen strategist, a fact often overlooked due to his reputation as a warrior. His strategies in warfare, politics, and diplomacy were innovative for the time and have been studied by military and political leaders throughout history. Let's not forget the myth that Genghis Khan and his Mongols were uncultured nomads. Quite the contrary, under his rule, the Mongol Empire became a hub of cultural exchange, facilitating the spread of ideas, technologies, and goods between the East and West. In separating fact from fiction, we gain a clearer understanding of the man behind the legend. Genghis Khan was a complex figure, a combination of a ruthless warrior, a lawgiver, a strategist, and a patron of culture. Unraveling the myths surrounding his life helps us appreciate his impact on history in a more nuanced light. From a blood clot in his hand at birth to the creation of the largest land empire, Genghis Khan's life was truly extraordinary. We began our journey with Genghis Khan's unusual beginnings. Born with a blood clot in his hand, seen as a sign of great leadership, he faced a life of trials from the start. From being orphaned and enslaved to becoming a respected warrior, his early life was a testament to his tenacity and survival instincts. Then we saw his rise to power, a remarkable ascent, marked by strategic alliances, innovative military tactics, and a deep understanding of his enemies. Genghis Khan unified the Mongolian tribes, transforming them from scattered nomads into a formidable force. We delved into the establishment and expansion of the Mongol Empire, the largest contiguous land empire in history. From the steppes of Mongolia to the gates of Europe and the heart of the Middle East, Genghis Khan's influence spread far and wide. His reign, although brutal, brought significant cultural and economic exchanges along the Silk Road, shaping the world in ways that still resonate today. We also explored his enduring legacy. Despite his reputation as a ruthless conqueror, Genghis Khan was a visionary leader who introduced a merit-based system, religious freedom, and even an early form of postal service. His descendants continued his work, leaving a lasting impact on numerous civilizations. And finally, we debunked some of the myths surrounding Genghis Khan. While he was indeed a fearsome warrior, he was also a complex figure with a profound respect for knowledge, law, and order. His life and legacy are a fascinating blend of brutality and enlightenment, a testament to the multifaceted nature of historical figures. In understanding Genghis Khan's life and legacy, we gain insight into one of history's most influential figures. As we journey through the pages of history, let's remember to look beyond the surface, to see the man behind the legend, and to appreciate the intricate tapestry of events that shape our world.